All right, guys, how's it going? So, in this video, we're going to be talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's mentioned in this article today in Marca about Valverde, who's been playing right back for Real Madrid this season, when called upon, during their defensive crisis, that crisis that they've had at right back in the side. And this article today in Marca is full of praise for Valverde. You know what I mean? Really gushing. He's amazing. He's shocked Real Madrid at how well he's done at the right back position. Also, AS, the other pro-Real Madrid newspaper, they too are bigging him up today. So we're going to go through that. We're going to see where Trent comes into this. Now, what I want to do is cast your minds back a little bit. The last time the Madrid-based media spoke about Trent Alexander-Arnold, it was to say that the deal was 90% done. And the 10% was because he hadn't signed a pre-contractual agreement with Real Madrid yet, which makes you think, why has he not signed it yet? Now, when we've discussed that together collectively, either in the comments or on live streams, we've kind of come up with, or you guys came up with and said, don't, if he signed a pre-contractual agreement with Real Madrid, they would leak it, and it would be unhelpful to Liverpool. There'd be all sorts of drama going on. And that's a valid point, maybe, you're right? Some people might say it's because he's leaving the door open, he's not sure if he wants to do it, whatever. I don't know what your views are on that. You can leave me a comment, on this video, and we can always look at that. So let's think about this. So they said 90% done. The only way that the deal doesn't happen is if Trent U-turns, right? If Trent U-turns, but the player and his representatives are continually in touch with Real Madrid, telling them that he won't U-turn. He wants to play for Real Madrid. He wants to link up with his boy Bellingham. Alphonso Davies was in a similar situation, if you remember, at Bayern, right? Both players, their situations ran parallel, right? Because they were both coming out of contract. And Real Madrid apparently in the summer or towards the end of last season said, look, don't renew with your clubs. If you renew with your clubs, you have no chance of coming and playing for the world's greatest club. If we can make something happen, if there's an opening, we'll come and get you, but we can't do that if you renew. So, this was continually reported. You'll remember this if you followed my videos, right? And I remember like a kind of patronising article not so long ago saying that Trent has done as he was told. He's sat there in the background. He's not renewed. He's playing along with it. He's doing what Real Madrid wanted him to do. Davies, however, did renew, right? And the response to that in Madrid was, well, we weren't really that bothered about him anyway, right? The only player that we're really interested in is Trent. He's the only player that Real Madrid would have paid money for in January. And his camp are basically saying he won't U-turn. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. I have Real Madrid fans commenting on my videos, and they continue to tell me Real weren't really that bothered about Davies. But anyway, so that was the last. The last coverage was that Trent was 90% done, right? And that was the only way that the deal couldn't happen was if he U-turned. I would argue if he got injured, it couldn't happen as well. And that's when you start to get a little bit worried, when there's a player that's maybe looking at a move out, because you think, will he really put in the tackles and challenges and that? Because he might injure himself. If a player's got a dream move, is he really going to go in for them crunching tackles? And I mentioned this previously, and you guys said to me, Dunk, he don't tackle anyway, so don't fucking worry about it, mate. You know what I mean? But then them kind of players, that are caught up in that, like, are they going to leave or whatever? They start suddenly being injured, don't they? Unavailable for selection. Think back to Coutinho. We actually mentioned Coutinho in a video today, didn't we? So anyway, that was the state of play the last time we spoke about Trent. So today is the first time in a few weeks that Trent's been mentioned. And we're going to go over what is said, okay? So first of all, Federico Valverde's performance as a right-back shocks everyone, okay? And then, this is this article. What if Valverde is a fullback? With Carvajal out and Arnold in the spotlight, Madrid is amazed by the Uruguayan's performance. Now, I'm not going to read the article out to you because the article is just, all about him, how great he is and his performances in certain games. I don't think you really need to know about all that, right? Just take my word for it. It's just all gushing about him, yeah? Now, a key point from the article is as follows. Reinforcing the right-back position was a top priority for next summer, and it still is, with Alexander-Arnold as the clear target, even sparking, albeit slim, possibilities of a winter move, right? Because he obviously tried to sign him in January. But what if Valverde is a fullback, right? In other words, what if he is actually capable? What if he is a fullback now, right? If the team is clicking, the player is thriving, and Carvajal's return remains on the horizon, could the summer plans shift? In other words, could Real Madrid change the situation and go, hang on a minute, he's doing all right as a right back. We've got Carvajal coming back as well. That's what basically that is. Could the summer plans shift? I find that a very, very interesting comment, right? Now, we shouldn't assume, right, I'm reading my notes, we shouldn't assume, right, that anything significant has changed with regards to Trent, but I do see it as a hedge, do you know what I mean, that maybe Real Madrid are not as confident as they were before about Trent. Maybe there's just one little thing's being said or something, do you know what I mean? And maybe it is just, that 90%, do you know what I mean? Because the last time they mentioned him was the first time that they said that, if he was to U-turn, then it wouldn't happen. Whereas all, through 2024, really, during the coverage, has been, he's ours. And then it was, well, if it wasn't going to happen. And then the next article, I don't know, you know what I mean? For me, right, I don't think it's enough for me to think that something major's happened. I'm not trying to say to you something's gone wrong. Trent's not going to go there. But I just find it interesting. That's all I'm trying to say to you here is there is a slight change in the reporting the last two times Trent's name's come up, I feel. And listen, at the end of the day, I've got almost 3 decades experience. 27 years I've been doing this, Have I ever mentioned that? Fuck off, there's some new people on my channel, all right? Now, I've noticed a shift in the confidence in the media anyway. That's what I'm trying to say here. I still think Real Madrid, even if they're saying, oh, well, Valverde's, he's comfortable right back, we're all right with him, I still think that they still pursue Trent, right, okay? But after a year of, he's definitely ours, it has changed a little bit, I think, when they've mentioned in the last 2 occasions. Okay, let me go through this. Now, they said Valverde, the most complete player in the world, right? So that was Marca, that's the one where they mentioned Trent. On the same day, the other publication says that Valverde is the most complete player in the world, right? And they say if there's one thing Fede Valverde has proven since playing for Real Madrid, and he did so again at the Bernabeu in Madrid's game against City, is that he's the most complete player in the world, complete in the broadest sense of the word. They also said his new role as a right-back is gaining ground, with 11 appearances in that position already. AS bring up a quote from Ancelotti earlier in the season, you'll have heard this, and he said he's a fantastic right-back. After Carvajal and Lucas Vazquez, he's the best in the world. But today they refer to that as, that was just like a jokey comment, But at the time, they never said that. They didn't say he was joking. After the 3-1 win over City, Ancelotti said he's happy playing there, but this has been an emergency situation. When Lucas returns, we will have both options available. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold is not mentioned anywhere in the AS article. But I do find it interesting that both Real Madrid publications are bigging up Valverde on the same day, which suggests to me some kind of briefing from the Bernabeu. Like they want to big him up today. I just think it's like, if a player, a goalkeeper pulls off a penalty save, right, in an important game, or, a star striker scores a hat-trick, or you expect those players to be mentioned the next day in all the newspapers, don't you? But this to me just feels a bit coordinated, right? And I might be wrong, right? I might be wrong, but it does say Dunk Knows Best, DKB, all right? So today's coverage from Marca and AS raises an interesting question about Real Madrid's plans for the right-back position. The line, could the summer plans shift, will stand out to many as something worth paying attention to. Some might see this as nothing more than Madrid keeping their options open, while others may feel this is a subtle way of applying a little pressure on Trent Alexander-Arnold, especially if he hasn't yet signed that pre-contract agreement, as has been claimed in Madrid. And this was discussed on the Cop Talk VIP members website this morning. I didn't think of that, to be honest with you, but it was 7 o'clock in the morning. But could this be them putting a little bit, are they just reminding Trent a little bit? Is something not happening in the background that Real Madrid, would like to see happening? But so they're just putting, they've managed to update, these 2 daily papers, sports, football dailies, with this glowing praise of Valverde. Could there be a shift in the plans? Is there a little bit of that there, guys? Do you know what I mean? Is it just like a little message to Trent? Real Madrid don't want to change the plans or anything, but are they sort of saying, hey, he's doing fucking all right? And I don't know. I'm here to create conversation for you and just to plant the seed in your minds, Now, while nothing suggests a major shift at this stage, it is notable that both of Madrid's key football newspapers have focused on Valverde today, reinforcing his growing importance in the squad. Whether this is just a tactical nudge or a real hedge in their confidence, it's something to keep an eye on in the coming weeks. And I'll conclude by saying that even if Real Madrid are happy with what they have, I still can't imagine that they'd pass on signing Trent on a free. So that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I don't know if I've done a very good job with this video. I'll be honest with you, this is probably my 15th attempt at recording it. I've attempted this video and I kept going wrong at the beginning. So I don't know if I've repeated myself, or if I've missed something out. I really don't know. So I hope I haven't let you down with the message I'm trying to say here. So there isn't always a conspiracy. There isn't there isn't always a hidden thing going on or anything like that. But we analyze what's being said, right? And they're bigging this lad up. Maybe they're just trying to get, confidence out there for the player, all right? Maybe, and they've just mentioned Trent in there. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not telling you what they are doing. I'm just saying, what do you think, guys, And it just makes you wonder, I don't think Real Madrid suddenly change and go, we don't want Trent now because, Valverde is doing all right. I don't believe that. I think they'll still go for him. But it does make me wonder if there's, something in the background that's well, we'd like to see this. We'll just give him a little reminder, where Real fucking Madrid. You don't know. I don't know. But I just thought you might find it of interest. I certainly did this morning, a long time ago. It's 4:30 now. I can't believe it's taken me until now to do this video. So I'm going to leave it with you. All right? What do you think? Did I do all right with the video? Is it all right? Because sometimes I feel like I've let you down. You know what I mean? And I know I say, you know what I mean, a lot. I think it's my nerves sometimes. I don't know. So I'll leave you with it. All right? Okay. Let me know what you think. My personal opinion is he still goes to Real Madrid. I do. One thing that the Madrid media said last time when they were talking about that 90% done and he could U-turn was they added a little bit saying that Liverpool's directors, basically Liverpool were constantly trying to convince him to stay and hoped that if Liverpool won major silverware this summer, that at the last home game at Anfield, that maybe it would be too emotional for Trent and that could be something that would sway him into staying. Okay, so the Madrid media weren't saying, oh, that might happen. They were saying that's what Liverpool officials are hoping will happen. All right, so, and another thing, I'll point this out. What the Madrid-based media say, or sport, if it's in Barcelona or whatever, I don't read these, right, and take what they say as gospel. I don't need anyone to tell me about journalism and, propaganda or anything. I don't need reminding about that. But the grown-ups, we like to see what's being said on one side and what's being said on the other, right? So, for example, when Real Madrid did come in for Trent at the turn of the year, we saw what Paul Joyce was saying, all right, who's the main man concerning Liverpool, him and Ornstein, they're the only two you need to listen to, all right? It was interesting to say what he was claiming and then what people over here were claiming, people like Jose Felix Diaz, is it, at Marca. So it's just good to see, I think, listen to both sides. If someone's shitting on that side, they're doing their job. They work with the clubs to get the stories out there and to put pressure on people and stuff like that. All right, so we don't take what they say as fucking gospel, but it's still interesting to see what they're saying. All right, and I'll be honest with you, everything that they've said so far regarding Trent, I actually believe. All right, and yes, there are good and bad journalists. There's journalists in England that I don't listen to. There's journalists here I don't listen to either. All right, but when people, Liverpool fans want to delude themselves sometimes. Fans at all clubs. I think the majority of the people that watch my videos that are here because, hey, I like Dunn, I like to see what he's got to say. I don't think they're naive in the slightest. But there's people out there that believe Real Madrid made an offer to sign Trent when the January window opened and that Trent didn't know anything about it. They would not have made that offer unless Trent had said, yeah, I'm up for it, I'm coming, right? So we know that, right? But what I must say is 90% isn't 100%. And done, to me, is when it's irreversible, when it's legally binding. That is done. Some people say, oh, it's done. And that's because they think it's just going to happen. But for me, my done is, when it's done, when it can't be fucking reversed, when it's official or whatever. You know what I mean? Anyway, at that point, I'm fucking done now too. So I'm off. I'll leave you with it. If you appreciate the video, if you thought I did all right, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment with any of these things and topics that I've mentioned. And if you want to buy me a coffee, I'll be at the cafe in the morning reviewing this shite again. Or a beer, because it is the weekend, in all fairness. Hit the super thanks. It's the love out under the video, all right? And I'll give you a shout out in tomorrow morning's morning briefing. If I don't catch up with you, have a great weekend. Be good, be safe. And I hope we get to speak real soon.